Hey folks, are you ready? Are you ready for a story? You may not know this, but I'm Pastor Alex, and I love Bible stories. I love telling stories. It's my favorite thing. I also like cartoons. So today we're going to be do a little bit of drawing with our storytelling. In fact, let's just do that for all these stories this week. I'm so excited to be a part of Shake It Up Cafe and talk about our Bible stories and how they relate to our secret ingredient for mixing it up and making the recipe that makes us into these disciples of God. So, today's topic, be ready. Today's story comes from Exodus 13. Exodus is one of my favorites. It might be one of my favorites because it always gets its own movie. Everyone always wants to tell the story of Exodus because it's so exciting. So today's story is a great one, and it features a character by the name of, let's say, Moses. Moses is a little bit of a nervous fella because he's never too sure about his ability to do what God's asked him to do. He's a little nervous about it. So you may know him from the movies because he always has like a big walking stick, a big staff, and yeah, he's a little antsy and also performs some pretty sweet stunts with God's help. Really neat things. So Moses here lives in a land at this point in the story called Egypt. Y'all have heard of Egypt. Not current Egypt, we're talking way back Egypt. We're talking when people had the Pharaoh and they lived in these great big cities, and around them were these pyramids. It was a time where they had like the Sphinx, right? That like strange, at that point it probably would have had a nose. Yeah, let's do that. Right? Cat paws. Cool. Egypt, right? Egypt land. We all know it. There would have been a great big palace. There would have been where the Pharaoh lives. It would have been a great big place with cool spires and probably a swimming pool up top. And then there were people who lived around the Pharaoh in their houses. There would have been the great big like Nile River would have gone through here. I don't know if my geography is actually that good, but you get the idea. There was a river. There were definitely little crocodiles in there. Right? Hippos? I'm not going to try hippo. Fiona, though, would be appropriate, right? Okay, so we have all these things. And then away from there was this little area here where all these little houses were. In these little homes lived the modest people of God. This is where the Israelites lived. They lived on the outskirts of the city. And you know what their job was in this community? They were slaves. They were enslaved. For this multiple generations, they lived there and had to work here and build these monuments and serve the Pharaoh. And the only thing they got for it was not any sort of representation or any sort of esteem or honor in their community. No, they were given food. Kind of like treating them like animals. It was terrible. Moses was an Israelite. But Moses also, for a time in his life, from a very young age, lived in the city palace. He was a prince of Egypt, essentially, until he saw how his people were treated. And he fled. He fled, and God spoke to him in a burning bush and said, Moses, you got to go back, and you got to set my people free. And we all know the story, right? From here, Moses comes back. He performs his miracle. Staff turns to snake. There's flies everywhere. There's a plague of locusts that hurt the community. Oh, there was rains and storms, and things got really bad. There was hail. It was getting real bad around town. Things caught on fire. Look at this. Oh, and the river, I don't know if you know this, the river turned to blood. Guys, if you ever got a little Nick, you know, this has got to be the stinkiest dang river that's ever lived, full of dead fish and, oh no, dead crocodiles. Or scary blood-covered crocodiles. Ugh! Awful. This place looks rough. The reason was God was trying to convince the Pharaoh through Moses, let my people go, set them free. And this story today, in Exodus 13, takes place in the final plague, where God has said, I'm going to do one more plague. Listen, be ready, because when this plague comes, you're going to be out of there quick. Moses is like, what is it? He says, it's going to be terrible. But I will pass over my people. I will pass over all of Egypt and pass you over. And tonight what you're going to do, before you're sent off to go, before you guys are sent off to find this new land I promised you, I want you to have a good, hearty dinner. Eat some food. And he gave them a recipe. Here's what you're going to eat. Here's what you're going to do. And one of the things on this menu was bread. Everyone loves bread. Let's draw some bread. We've got some light, fluffy bread, right? Delicious bread. You take a big old chomp out of it and there's all those little like air bubbles in there. No, we're not having that bread, God says. No. See, this kind of bread, you remember what Scrap said this morning? Scrap said, what makes bread light and fluffy and rise? Yeast does. But that takes time. It takes a little time for it to rise. We don't have time. I need you to be ready. Be ready to go. So instead, we're going to have flatbread, which looked like this. Kind of like a tortilla. It's called matzo. And it was a flat bread. It could be kind of like a cracker or a pita or something like that, but it was flat, right? And that's what you're going to eat with your dinner. And then you can take it and store it and travel with it. But tonight, I want everyone to get ready. So everyone was a little nervous of what was happening, right? What does this mean that we're going to have to go somewhere, Moses? What are you talking about? Like, what should we do? And Moses said, make this dinner, put on your backpacks, load them full of all your stuff, get your walking sticks ready, get all your stuff together, and we are going to go on an adventure. Get your backpacks and walking sticks, get your flatbread, and get ready, because we are about to leave. But it's only when God says so. Once the Passover happens, then we'll be set free. And that's exactly what happened. God passed over Egypt. Many died. And God passed over the house of the Israelites and went over them and didn't cause any harm. No plague happened to them. And they woke up in the morning. They need to get out of there. The Pharaoh was done. Leave. Get out of here. So they did. They left. They all fled. They got out of town real quick with their flatbread, their food, their supplies, and they hit the road. And all the time, they remember this by still celebrating Passover with flatbread. They still have flatbread. To remember that when God calls us, we need to be listening and be ready to go at a moment's notice. So that's our story today, about how God passed over the people and gave them this way to remember it through a recipe of a celebratory meal. Prepare yourself, get ready to go. And when you go, bring this with you. No time to waste. Thanks for listening to our story today. You got more activities and a little snack recipe today too. So we'll see you next time for our next story. Bye!